I still remember that morning because nothing about it felt unusual. I kissed my wife goodbye, grabbed my lunch, and headed to work, believing I had a happy family. After 27 years of marriage, trust had become second nature. We had raised 2 wonderful children, celebrated birthdays, survived financial struggles, and built a home filled with memories. Never once did I imagine that everything I believed could collapse in a single afternoon. Around 11:30, my manager announced that a power outage had shut down our office. For the rest of the day, everyone cheered, but I simply smiled. I thought it would be the perfect chance to surprise my wife. With lunch, I stopped by her favorite bakery, bought fresh sandwiches, pastries, and flowers, imagining how happy she would be to see me unexpectedly. As I pulled into the driveway, I noticed a luxury SUV parked outside. It belonged to my son-in-law, Daniel. I assumed he had stopped by to help with something around the house. After all, family visited family all the time. I quietly unlocked the front door, expecting to call out a cheerful greeting. Instead, I heard laughter coming from upstairs. It wasn't ordinary conversation. It sounded intimate, comfortable, familiar in a way that instantly made my stomach tighten. I climbed the stairs slowly, each step feeling heavier than the last. The bedroom door was slightly open. Through the narrow gap, I saw something that froze every part of me. My wife and Daniel were embracing each other. For several seconds, my brain refused to understand what my eyes were seeing. I convinced myself there had to be another explanation. Maybe someone was upset. Maybe they were comforting each other. Then they kissed. The flowers slipped from my hands and hit the floor. Both of them turned toward the doorway. My wife's face lost all color. Daniel jumped back as if someone had poured ice water over him. Silence filled the room. My wife whispered my name, but I couldn't respond. I simply turned around, walked downstairs, left the lunch on the kitchen counter, and drove away without saying a single word. I spent the next several hours parked beside a quiet lake, staring at the water while replaying the moment again and again. My phone rang, nonstop. My wife called over 40 times. Daniel called, even my daughter called. But I couldn't answer. How could I? How do you tell your daughter that the 2 people she trusted most had betrayed everyone? Late that evening, I returned home. My wife was sitting alone in the living room, crying uncontrollably. She immediately stood up. "It isn't what you think." Those 6 words made something inside me break. "What exactly should I think?" I asked quietly. She struggled to explain herself, saying the relationship had started only a few months earlier. She claimed she had been feeling lonely. She said I worked too much. She blamed emotional distance. Every excuse sounded emptier than the last. Daniel arrived shortly afterward, hoping to explain himself too. I asked only one question. "Does my daughter know?" He lowered his head. "No." That answer told me everything. They hadn't made one terrible mistake. They had built an entire lie. The next morning, I met my daughter at a small cafe. Looking at her smiling face nearly destroyed me. She was excitedly talking about plans for their anniversary trip, completely unaware that her marriage already existed. On borrowed time, I interrupted her gently. "I need to tell you something." The next hour became the hardest conversation of my life. She refused to believe me. At first, she defended both of them. "My husband would never do that. My mother loves us." Then I showed her the security camera footage from our hallway. I had forgotten our home security system automatically recorded movement near the bedrooms. The truth appeared on the screen. She watched silently when the video ended. Tears streamed down her face. She didn't scream. She didn't throw anything. She simply whispered why. I had no answer. Within days, everything exploded. Daniel admitted the affair. My wife admitted everything. Both families learned the truth. Friends who had known us for decades were shocked. Some blamed Daniel, others blamed my wife. A few even tried blaming me for working too much. But betrayal is always a choice. No amount of loneliness forces someone into deception. My daughter immediately filed for divorce. I contacted an attorney myself. Ending a marriage after nearly 3 decades felt like attending the funeral of someone who was still alive. Every room in our house carried memories. The kitchen where we celebrated birthdays. The living room where we watched Christmas movies. The backyard where our children learned to ride bicycles. Now, every memory felt stained. The legal process lasted several months. Because we had documented financial records and shared property, everything had to be divided carefully. My wife repeatedly asked for another chance. She wrote letters. She apologized. She promised therapy. She promised change. But trust isn't rebuilt by promises. It's rebuilt by actions over time. Some bridges burn too completely to cross again. During the divorce, I discovered something unexpected. My daughter became my greatest source of strength. Instead of allowing the betrayal to define her, she returned to school, started a successful business, and slowly rebuilt her confidence. Watching her heal reminded me that pain doesn't have to become permanent. As for Daniel, he eventually moved away. Very few people remained close to him after the truth became public. My ex-wife also found herself increasingly isolated. Affairs often promise excitement, but they rarely survive the destruction they leave behind. Nearly 2 years have passed since that terrible afternoon. I still visit the same lake where I parked after discovering the betrayal, but now I go there for peace instead of escape. I've learned that forgiveness doesn't always mean reconciliation. Sometimes forgiveness simply means refusing to let someone else's choices control your future. I've started traveling. I've reconnected with old friends. I've discovered hobbies I abandoned years ago. Most importantly, I've rebuilt my relationship with my daughter. Our family became smaller, but strangely it became more honest. People often ask whether I regret coming home early that day. My answer surprises them: no. The truth was painful, unimaginably painful. But living inside a beautiful lie would have been far worse. Sometimes the worst day of your life becomes the first day of your freedom. If this story teaches anything, it's that trust is one of life's greatest gifts. Protect it, value it, and if someone chooses to betray it, remember that their decision reflects their character, not your worth. Healing may take months or even years, but every sunrise offers another opportunity to rebuild. In the end, honesty hurts only once, while deception creates pain every single day. Those who face the truth with courage may lose the life they knew, but they gain something even more valuable: the chance to build a future founded on respect, integrity, and genuine peace.